The 2020 season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has been very up and down, and that's been pretty clear and obvious, whether you're a Buccaneers fan or not. They'll have one really good game where it seems like the Buccaneers are the favorite to win the Super Bowl, and other games it looks like they shouldn't even be a pro football team. We've seen it every week, it's back and forth, but the only thing that has been consistent is who's been blamed. Every single week, every single person blames Tom Brady. He got the blame, whether it was in New England, whether it's in Tampa Bay. But I think Tom Brady does not deserve any of the hate at all. And this is coming from a person that does not believe Tom Brady is the GOAT. This is coming from a person that doesn't think Tom Brady is the greatest football or the quarterback of all time to begin with. So I'm not a Tom Brady fanboy or a know-it-all about Tom Brady, but I do know watching football this year, the the credit doesn't belong to anybody because this offense has been a disaster. This team has. But the blame should not be on Tom Brady at all. We want to start at why Tom Brady came here. The weapons, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, an offensive-minded head coach of Bruce Arians. That was when they got there. Okay, these two standout receivers, 1,000-yard receivers, young O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate. Also a bright offensive mind to get those guys open and ability to win football games. A young running back in Ronald Jones, a decent running game. A solid defense that has been top 10 the last 3 years, and they're going to get better. With Winfield and a rising star in Levante David and Devin White, the pass rush of Pierre Paul, Vita Vea, and Ndamukong Suh. This is going to be a dominant team in Shaq Barrett. The corners are only young and improving, and they're going to get better. The question was offensive line to begin with. Was the only question. They added veterans, and they added a young rookie in the first round, and the offensive line was supposed to be this great, strong wall like the 2016 Dallas Cowboys was. But it hasn't been that at all. The offensive line has been very inconsistent and filled with injuries, rotating all the time and just not playing well when they are healthy. The receivers have not been healthy at all. Mike Evans has been in and out, not really playing well. Chris Godwin's been in and out, not really playing well. The additions of guys like Leonard Fournette, LaShawn McCoy, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski that were added after Tom Brady came here haven't really panned out. Antonio Brown's been involved in the offense here and there. Rob Gronkowski was a slow start. Now he's starting to come back in, and then he disappears again. Leonard Fournette's been given limited carries. LaShawn McCoy's been injured. So it's been a question to me why Tom Brady gets the blame. He came here because of the weapons, and now the weapons aren't there. He's doing most of what he can with guys like Scotty Miller and Cameron Brate, who's talented, but throughout the season he's the number 3 receiver. Now he's Brady's go-to guy, with O.J. Howard being injured, Gronkowski being questionable every week, but now with injuries, but with just consistent play. And the receivers nowhere to be found. Now, does it need to be blamed on Chris Godwin and Mike Evans? No, they've been injured. That's not their fault. They can't control that. But Tom Brady can't control the production of his receivers either if they're not on the field. So if Tom Brady was supposed to have a good season because these weapons and the weapons aren't here, why is Tom Brady still getting the blame? Bruce Arians has also made some questionable play calls. It's questionable what it is as a coach. And the defense hasn't really played well. The run defense looks really, really good at some points, and then sometimes it looks like they don't even try. In pass coverage, they look like they're really, really good and can shut down any receiver in the game. And then sometimes they let guys like Cole Beasley or shorter than him destroy them. So to me, it's just a question on when will they stay consistent? Is it in the playoffs and they can make that deep playoff run? Or is it next season when they have a full off season together, a real off season, and a season under their belts? When they get guys like Barrett back and guys healthy, and David I think should be defensive player of the year. At least if he started the season like that, and those guys on the defensive side of the ball can mesh. And back to what I was saying in the main part of this video, I think most of the blame should go on Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians does have all these weapons when they are healthy and can't utilize them and call the right plays to get them open or utilize them. You have Ronald Jones having a great season, but you also have McCoy and Leonard Fournette. You have Gronk and all these guys you're not utilizing. Antonio Brown has been healthy. He's been there, and you're still not utilizing him when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin aren't on the field. Not running the ball, just flat out forgetting about it and doing these long passes when you don't have an O-line and no weapons to throw to. I get his system is to throw the deep ball, no risk it, no biscuit. But when you don't have the weapons to do that, injured receivers that are injured and they're not going to be able to pick up that speed, an offensive line that can't block enough for Tom Brady to take a 5-7 step drop. It just won't work. So I think people that are hitting on Tom Brady for this season, coming from a Tom Brady hater, I think we should look to change the blame. I don't think it's Tom Brady's fault. I think a little bit of it's Bruce Arians' fault, but it's also just like the Dallas Cowboys this year. It's the first year in a new system for everybody, and it's just going to take time. Because by next year, I think the Bucs will be better than they are this year and hopefully healthy. So until then, I don't think we can blame anybody, but just the nature of a first year with a new system.